Russell from Enviro Systems. I founded the company in 2001, and the purpose was to develop a new bespoke animal bedding for cubicles. So the product has now been on the market about 10 years, and in 2008 we gave it a bit of a boost, slurry bugs, because the powder, which is the bacteria, we found that it benefited from having a micronutrient added at the same time. And what that did was make the bacteria in slurry bugs actually work 8 times faster. So there was no more bacteria. Basically, Slurry Bugs and Booster is now the product that we supply. We do it in 2 versions. One's a by hand version, and one is an automatic system for the larger farms.
Shepherd of Shepherd's Dairy Limited. We're producer retailers. We started using slurry bugs in 2003, so we put it in the channels to make them run better, and when it was coming into a slurry store we were getting a lot less crust, where before, when it come into the store, it would take us about 7 or 8 hours to stir it all up and pump it. It took us about half an hour to stir it up. We found that when we were putting 90 units on for first cut silage, and we've cut it down to 70-75 units. Second cut we were putting about 80 to 85 units on, and we've cut that down to about 65 units. Third cut would put about 60 on, and we've cut that down to about 40. And then after that we'd often go and put 30 or 40 units on, but now we more or less just go around and put slurry on. Right behind me we have a field. We have a field which we spread with slurry 2 weeks ago, and as you can see, the cows' heifers are grazing it. Before we put the bugs in, you'd put the slurry on, you'd have to wait 4 or 5 weeks before we could get on and graze it. Where now we can graze two weeks after we've got it on.
Hello, it's Tom Richardson. We farm in Lancashire. We've a more traditional farm that's had to lend itself to heifer rearing and a small beef enterprise. We've used slurry bugs for about 18 months now, purely for handling purposes, because we've suffered from bad crusts. This building on slats here is a great example. It holds about 15 to 16,000 gallons of slurry. In our tanker loads, probably about 12 loads. We've always struggled to get any slurry out of it. What we found is that we would suck 2 loads of urine out when it was full, and then it would go really thick and stodgy, and we'd struggle to get any out really. So we introduced the slurry bugs in the winter when it was about -15. So it had a fair challenge on its hands to get going, and slowly over time this building's getting emptier and emptier. We're down to probably drawing about 8 loads out of it. Yeah, granted it's not homogenised as we'd like yet, but we're certainly improving it all the time. We're actually getting those loads of muck out of the building, which we weren't before, so we're certainly making a big improvement. This is the tower at my sort of little and humble farm. When we actually started using the slurry bugs, it was in the winter when it was about -15. We had a 1.5 foot crust on this tower with lots of things growing out the top of it, and it was quite embarrassing when the contractors drove through this building and they could see over the top and see all the grass and the elderflower bushes and stuff like that growing. So we introduced the bugs over that winter, which would have been 18 months ago, and I think from the shots of the tower that around that time they'll to see the improvement. One was from about June, so the bugs had already got rid of a lot of the crust, but you can still see the green debris and growth that was on the top of the tank.
My name is James Rogerson of the Avenham Holsteins. We have farmed in the Fylde for 30 years now. I am married to Anne with 4 children, and we're currently milking 300 cows, averaging 11,500 in 3 or 5 days and 12,800 per lactation. And in 1999, Enviro Systems asked me to trial a new product called Optimise. I used it on about a third of my silage that year, and I continued to use it in increasing amounts year after, which in my experience outperformed any other product that was available.
An early pioneer of the 4 to 5 week cutting cycle to achieve higher quality silage crops, James requested 11 years ago an inoculant formula which overcame the high levels of acidity produced from ensiling rapidly fermentable leafy material. This was inhibiting intakes and therefore production from forage.
Once we'd tackled the lactic acid problem, Liz asked me what else that could be used to enhance her product, and I said that secondary fermentation was a problem, and after some research she came back with a product which she advised would be very good for that. Again, I trialled it, and again it did as she said. There was virtually no secondary fermentation, despite the fact that at that time we had no block cutter.
Containing no lactobacillus, the unique strains of Bacillus in Optimise were designed to overcome yeast and mould spores present at ensiling and other spoilage organisms such as Listeria and Clostridia, all of which impact good fermentation. At the same time, Optimise Bacillus capture volatile N fractions, those of nitrates, ammonia and urea, so that when the silage is in the rumen, it offers a better balance of nutrients to the rumen bacteria. Forage crops already contain high levels of naturally occurring lactobacillus strains, so these are relied upon to acidify the silage and stabilise to pH 4. 3 years ago, a groundbreaking enzyme package was added to Optimise, and James was the first of 3 farmers in the UK to trial this. Optimise Plus offers farmers an opportunity to produce silage which can offer the same nutrient supply as concentrates. The new enzyme in Optimise Plus made the formula the complete package for farmers who wanted their cows to have huge appetites for silage. The cows stayed fitter during the winter months whilst achieving high yields from forage and maintaining better quality milk.
In my opinion, Optimise Plus does not work to its optimum until 3 months after clamping. In the first months there's very little difference between that and the best of the other products. Later on the difference becomes more and more apparent, and by the time we get to 3 months I feel that we are getting an extra 2 litres per day above some other products. Last year we made 1,200 bales of silage, and we used Optimise Plus on them. Of those 1,200, only 2 were not fit to feed, which I find quite outstanding performance. Optimise Plus is very easy to use. It comes in very small pots which are easy to store and is extremely easy to mix. The contractors like it for that reason.
Optimise Plus can be used on all forage crops to increase ME levels by up to 1 megajoule per kilo dry matter, which on a 200 cow herd can achieve savings in feed costs of up to £48,000 over a 12-month period.